Hey everyone, we are super excited to be spreading awareness and destigmatizing mental health in the Black and Brown communities.
This podcast is a safe place for us to discuss our adversities and even our shortcomings. We all have a story.
Just remember, no matter what we go through, our story goes on. What's up everyone? Welcome back!
Yes, we are lit.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be back.
I know. It feels like it has been forever, which it kind of has been in podcast world, I guess. But we are so happy to be back for episode 9. And we're going to be talking about some good things today.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we get into everything, though, let's do a little bit of a check-in. How are you feeling today, Jo? How's everything? How's life?
Listen, I'm feeling blessed overall.
Amen.
Life is good, honestly. Overall, I can't complain. I woke up today. I got to eat some good fruit. I drink my water. And
The fruit was good.
Yeah, I honestly can't complain. If I did, though, would y'all really listen? So, I have to eat up my words sometimes and just digress.
Well, I mean, I'll listen. I'm here.
Yes, of course. You always listen to me and my problems, but sometimes it gets to a point where you just gotta put your big girl panties on. Sometimes it's just face the world head on,
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I don't know if y'all know, but I have moved out to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it has been an experience, y'all, going to a different state and just kind of like exploring the world from unfamiliar territory. It's just it's a different experience, and I'm grateful for it because it's definitely gonna make me stronger through the end. But I just have to focus on the light at the end of the tunnel because
Focus on that.
Listen, the tunnel is like y'all ever went through New York's tunnel?
That's how it is.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, it seems really long, but once you get through, you're in New York. So,
yes. Yeah. So Atlanta is definitely, I don't know, whoever does follow us on Instagram, we did do a little bit of an update a couple weeks ago when we decided to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus because a lot of crazy things were going on.
Yeah.
For Jo and for me, just like it was just too chaotic, and sometimes we just have to pause these kind of things and just try to reflect and take some time to focus on those things before we can jump back on so that we can give you guys 125%.
Okay, because y'all are our babies. This is our
Exactly.
babies right here. So
yes. But I'm so happy for Jo because, yes, moving out to a whole different state is really frightening. It's very brave because she decided to make that decision for herself and find a job down there and everything. So that's really difficult. I mean, I feel like difficult is not really the best word for it either because...
Listen, Sin, I have been talking about moving to Atlanta since...
She has.
Even before I met you, like
I
literally,
think so.
Like my sister moved down there in 2016 and like I would go out there and visit her and it was just so beautiful for Black and brown people, like even the sisterhood down there and just like the like the Black culture and like just the culture in general. Girl, listen, my favorite place is Tacos and Tequilas.
Wait, the one that when we went there, when I went down there,
that's my favorite place, and it's just so nice to like go down there and just be surrounded by so much love and so much culture. And don't get me wrong, there's still those percentage of people that are like, "F you, I'm trying to get to work," and they're trying to like hit you on the highway. But overall, it's good people and good vibes down there.
And that's how it is, like in every city, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're never going to go to a city and find like...
Yeah, they be from New York, though, yo. They be from New York.
Well, my friend who also lives down there was telling me that, the one that you met when I was down there, telling me that most people who live down there are coming from different parts of the country.
Yes.
Like most people don't really stay in Atlanta, I guess. There's more people coming from other parts of like the country to live in Atlanta.
Yes, and it's causing the cost of living to go high. Like, y'all, can y'all chill? Stay where y'all at for now until I find my apartment and y'all can come on.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say, like, everybody just chill, and then that way the cost of living will go down.
No, literally.
But I feel like that's just how it is in life right now. Just everything is just going up in price, like no matter what. I think a lot of people have the notion that you go down south, it's cheaper. And I'm sure lots of parts of the south are cheaper than up north. Yeah. But when it comes to cities, it's just, forget about it. It's just like now it's always going to be expensive.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that 20 million people go to the county of Gwinnett in Atlanta.
Is that where...
No, that's not where I'm located, but it's like right next to my job. My job's in Dunwoody. Actually, I think that's DeKalb County. But 20 million people go and visit this place, and it's like
as a tourist?
Yeah, as tourists. Oh. I'm just like, that's crazy. First of all,
that's why COVID was rampant down there.
Yeah, she caught Florida.
Yeah. Oh my god, I don't even want to like.
She's like, I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh my god, that was the worst. But yeah, I did have Florona. Everybody was talking about Florona, and I was like, am I patient zero? Because I had this before everybody else did. I feel because
patient X,
right? But yeah, so. Yeah. But I mean, I think it's just. Atlanta is, I mean, I'm definitely going to visit. Like, once you get settled and everything, I'm definitely going to, and we're going to have a proper visit, because that first visit was terrible because I was sick.
Yes.
And I was in denial that I had COVID. So, yeah.
You know what? I feel like some of us really are, though, because it's like, come on. What is corona? Sometimes it could be just a flu. And I do know that and understand that it gets really serious for some people. Mm-hmm. But people are like going haywire and crazy over like the 1 percentage of people that are dying, as opposed to everyone that's recovering from it. And I feel like we're so accustomed to like focusing on the negative. Like, people are recovering from COVID every single day.
Right.
So like,
you mean like we're not focusing on the positive?
Yeah,
we're
like people are like, oh my gosh, I have
negative.
COVID, I'm gonna die. Like, why are we even going to those extremes? Like, let's focus on getting well, focus on like building our immune systems up and things like that. Like, things that we can control. We can't control whether we die or live, honestly. And that's just the truth about it. But
even though I wish we could control that.
Yeah, me too. I wish somebody made a pill for me to live like 1,000 years and like be 24 forever. But
right. But that's just not the way of the world. So.
We'll see. If somebody's out there thinking about it, though, please make the pill. Please make the pill.
But yeah, so a lot of good changes, and I moved. So,
yay!
Oh my god. Yeah, my husband and I closed on a home. Yay! Now I can officially like kind of talk about it because it's all done. But we closed on a home about like almost a month ago at this point, and then we moved in almost 2 weeks ago. We moved, for those who live in the Jersey area, or we had a really bad snowstorm that weekend. I'm like, of course. But it's been a little bit of some chaos in our new home, but it's okay. We're going to have our pastor come in and bless the home, because it's been not a very smooth ride, but that's the point of being a homeowner, right? Yeah. Some of these things will happen, but we're super grateful that we're able to be living in our own home, and, you know, just haven't been married for almost 4 months at this point. So, you know, having to be able to accomplish that for us has been really great. So that was some of the changes. It was just way too much. Like, I mean, moving is the worst. We were just saying like how grateful we were that we're not going to be moving anytime soon, because it was a lot just to move and get people to help us. And it's a lot. So that's why we couldn't sit down for you guys and prep and all that. So a lot of different things going on.
But I will say this. I am so proud of Sin. I literally feel like at this point she's a prophet. Every single time she says something, it literally occurs. Not only did she just get married and she's like moving into a house, like these are like her dreams are literally like unfolding in front of her. Yeah. And then can you please tell them, or you want me to tell them?
What
about your new job?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I also got a new job.
Yes, period. Yes, bigger bags.
Right. Yes, that's another thing. I forgot about that. I'm like, wait, which one are we talking about? But, well, yeah, so I got a new job, and I start on Monday. So today is a Wednesday for those when you guys will hear this. So I start this coming Monday, and I'm super nervous, but also I'm not as nervous actually as like I thought I would be. Like, I'm nervous because I don't know the people, I don't know like the environment, so I'm nervous for that. But I'm not really nervous to kind of jump into, because it's the same job. I'm still going to be a therapist, but it's a lot more flexible in the schedule, and it is just going to be better for me all around. So it's going to be very different. I'm downsizing. I'm going to a group practice rather than staying with like a big organization. But I get to make my own hours, and I'm getting paid hourly now rather than salary. So that's another really scary thing because for my therapist friends, we all know that if you're paid hourly as a therapist, you're only being paid for the clients that show. So it's a little bit scary, because at my last job, no matter what, like I could go a whole day without seeing one client and I would still be paid for it no matter what. So I'm a little nervous about that, but it's okay. Because I want to be able to experience this part of being a therapist, because most therapists start off at work in those kind of agencies where they are getting paid salary, And then now I'm kind of going to being paid hourly. So, but the hourly rate is way more than what I was being paid as salary. So that's what I need to make sure of.
All I gotta say is God will provide it. If you don't, that's what you got Henry for.
Exactly. That's very true. Very true. So, but yes, I just need a job where it's going to just be more flexible. Like, especially like when I eventually start making a family, I need to make sure that I'm not going to, if I want, when I want to go back to work, I could go back to work, let's say like 1 day a week if I wanted to, and be able to, I mean, not literally because I still have to work full time, but you get my drift. So that's really most important for me. It was, but yeah, so a lot of good things. Yes. 2022 starting off pretty strong.
Yes, nice and beautiful.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get into it. Yes. What are we going to be talking about today, Jo?
Today we are talking about something that was brought to me actually by my pastor, and I want to share it with you guys. So he did a sermon, and the sermon was called "The Nighttime is the Right Time." We actually are going to link it also.
Awesome.
Into the video and under our bio or whatever
description box.
Thank you. I was drawing a blank, guys. For you guys, however, his aspect on dark rooms and dark periods of your time that you go through and things like that. So, do you guys remember like Kodak, like cameras and how you have to take them to a development room and the room is dark, right?
Right. But all our older people, I don't know about the youngins, but
yes, I vaguely remember it. I was 24 and I definitely remember like having Kodak stuff around the house. Like my parents used to buy Kodak films around the house. So I remember that. But one thing I completely forgot about was the development room. When you go into the development room, it's a dark room and it has, chemicals and stuff like that. But the developer places your photos or your films into the whatever chemicals they use. And then by the time the developer is done, you have a picture, a beautiful picture, a time to remember, basically.
Right.
So what I wanted to discuss about that was, we have to reimagine or like reconstruct the ways that we look at dark times and things that we face. For one, they're temporary. You're gonna get through it.
Yes.
Like no matter how you feel in that moment. Listen, I have found myself sitting in a dark room at my house, in a house, mind you, my parents are immigrants, in a house in America. Crying myself to sleep or crying or pleading to God to like heal my heart. So for me, it's like, I know that there's people in the world that go through worse things and like.
But everybody says that though.
Yes, everyone says that.
Everyone said, "Oh, well, I don't have it as bad," but it's not fair to place that judgment on your own experience,
right? Because at the end of the day, whatever you feel and whatever you go through is your story and it's specific to you and unique to who you are, and that matters. So when it comes to like dark times or like dark moments, or when people let you down, or when certain situations put you in a dark place, or like just don't work out, like you have to be able to like be like, okay, this is just a time and a period. I'm feeling like hopeless right now. I'm feeling like, honestly, sometimes it can be as deep as I'm feeling like I want to die right now. I don't want to exist. I don't want to continue moving forward. But you have to reach within yourself to pull something out. Right. If it's anger, pull it out and use it. There's power in anger, right? If I'm angry about something, I'm going to show you. Okay? I'm going to show you. If I'm sad about something, you know what? I'm going to cry it out. I'm going to take 10 days, maybe. 10 days. I'm a crybaby. I'm a crybaby, so I don't care.
Me too. I cry at everything, man.
Okay? I don't care. This morning, I was talking to my mom, and I was tearing up and stuff like that. She was like, "You cry too much." I'm like, "Mom, you know what? I'm emotional. Leave me alone."
Oh, my God. No, I'm a Cancer, so I don't want to further stigmatize cancers, but I cry at like any inconvenience in my life.
No, seriously, because at the time it's like, why me? Right. God, did you forget about me down here? Are you serious? Like, why is this person not going through this? Why is it me? Or why am I this person? I'm having to deal with this. Like, I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. And it's like, bad things happen to good people all the time. Like, there's nothing that you can do about it. And there's a time and a season for every single thing that you go through, every single thing that you face, and all that. So what I'm really here, what this episode really is about is just
how
reconstruct. Reconstructing.
Mm-hmm.
So when the pastor said the nighttime is the right time, I'm thinking the nighttime is the right time. If I go to the gas station at night right now, somebody might mug me just because I'm a woman. Talk about something. The nighttime is the right time. So I had to really sit back and think about it. Like, what does he really mean about this?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept thinking about all the dark moments that I've been through, all the trauma that I've been through, and how for me, I've always wanted to be a conqueror, not a victim. Mm-hmm. So for me, those moments definitely define me.
Yeah.
If I'm in a dark place, I'm thinking about all the dreams that I have, all the things that I want to do and accomplish. And like those things like dark places can hinder those things from happening. Like they can literally stop your dreams, literally stop you in your tracks to the point where like, I'm not going to talk to anybody anymore because every time I let somebody in, I get hurt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go after my dreams anymore because every time I go after my dreams, I'm hurting financially. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to talk to my brother or my sister anymore because every time I talk to them, they're not trying to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So those things can stop progression.
And it could stop you from finding like something true.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, like you mentioned, I'm not going to let anybody in because my heart is always broken or something. But you don't know if that's the attitude that you're going to have. How do you know that you're not going to let the right person in by having that attitude?
Right.
Yeah.
So like I hear people all the time saying like, I'm so shy. I'm an introvert. I don't really like talking to people. I like, sticking around the people that I vibe with. And that's all cool and dandy, but there's power in networking. Mm-hmm. There's power in talking to people because you don't know what that person can do for you. Right. You don't know who that person is at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. If you come into a room and you may be sitting right next to a billionaire and not even know it. Like literally. Like, so say hi to that person. It's not going to take anything from you if you say hi to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's not going to take anything from you if you are in a dark place and you're just like, you know what? Right now, I'm in a dark place and I feel hopeless. I actually feel like I want to die. But tomorrow, we're going to figure this out.
Right.
We're going to work on solutions. We're going to write down our dreams. We're going to make sure that we don't lose focus on the bigger picture, that we don't lose sight of that light. Because once we start to give into the darkness, we're giving it power. Mm-hmm. Not just any power, but we're giving it power from stopping us to be our higher selves, to like reach our destiny. And like, every single person has a purpose, down to a baby. Like babies bring joy. Like when I see a baby, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 24. Listen, it's not going to hurt me to pop one out. But at the same time,
not yet though.
yeah, not yet. We're not doing that yet. But at the same time, those are things that like, will keep you going at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. Like there's times where like I look at my nieces and my nephews and I'm like, you know what? I gotta keep going because
they're looking motivation.
Yeah, they're looking up at me, so I have to keep looking up at somebody. You know what I mean? Right. Not even just somebody, something, someone, some dream. Like I have to continue looking up. I cannot look down because when you look down, listen, that's when the devil will start talking to you. Mm-hmm. That's when all the bad things will start coming and like storming and just flooding your mind. If you can like just give into the negativity, it just eats you up. It'll literally consume you, and it'll stop you from just being able to like pull from that one positive thought that comes to your mind. You'll be like, listen, sometimes I'll be in a dark place and I'm like, let me listen to some sad music to get more sad.
And how many people do that though, right? Actually like listen to sad music to make them feel, I don't think people do it on purpose to make them feel more sad, but I think it's more like, let me try to see if this person can relate to me. Like, this person wrote this lyric, so now I feel like I can relate to it.
Yes. But honestly, in those times, it's all about what you consume and what you take in. When you're in a dark period or a dark time, like spend some time meditating, talking to yourself, giving yourself words of affirmation. If you're religious, going to church. If you are devout religion, reading the Bible. I'm religious, but I'm not reading the Bible. I'm sorry. That's all too big. That's all too big. I need to do 365 days or something like that. I need you to break it down for me. I can't make it past Genesis. I don't know whoever else trying to read the Bible, but I just cannot make it past Genesis. I'll be falling asleep. I'm like, the devil was trying me.
But I think that when it comes to like the dark times and everything, you're cracking yourself up.
I'm sorry, but
you're fine.
Oh my god.
But I was gonna say, in terms of like the dark, like trying to pull yourself out of these dark times, it's just to kind of talk about like the mental illness aspect of it too, right? So it's like a lot of times for people who experience depression, anxiety, stress, trauma, whatever it may be, you may be hearing this and thinking, well, I've tried that. Right. I've tried to pull myself out. I've tried to do all these different things. So we understand 100% how difficult and how draining it can feel to try to pull yourself out of that. Right. Because mental illness is real, and it really, it just kind of like what Joe was saying, these dark times really hinder you from moving forward. And that's also what mental illness and mental health symptoms can do for you as well. Like you're feeling depressed that day. I'm not doing anything today. Tomorrow comes, I'm still feeling depressed, and I'm also still not going to do anything. Right. So it's really hard sometimes to be able to pull yourself out of that. And I know it sounds like easier said than done, right? But it really starts with a lot of awareness. I mean, and a lot of people will sit there and say, oh, well, I'm too aware. I'm too aware of my symptoms. I'm too aware of my emotions. And that's my problem. I think too much. I feel too much. Right. But it's important to try to find power in that, like you had mentioned about like, okay, like, yes, I feel this way. Now, how can I try to make things a little bit better? Yeah. So, because mental illness, like it's important to note that we know that there are struggles in that. And that's why in terms of these darker times, they might feel a little bit more dark for people who do experience it too. Yeah. And then also, especially too, like we were talking about how other people's behaviors can maybe cause those dark times too. Yes. Right? Like that's another thing too, is that we're not saying that these dark times are only caused by your own behaviors. And it might be, depending on maybe you made a mistake or whatever. Yes. But again, sometimes you run into people, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, that might have put you in that dark place. And again, it's not so much like, oh, we're going to point fingers and we're going to blame others for putting us in that situation. But sometimes these things are not really in our control, the way that other people behave, right? We can only control how we respond, how we behave. And then when others try to kind of stomp on that, it could put you into that place too. Right. Which is difficult.
That's 100% true. And I hope that I did not come off as saying like, if you are going through dark times, just contact God, because that does not always work, honey. Listen, there's so many times I literally said, I screamed at the top of my lungs like, God, please come sit on my bed and tell me what to do. And he ain't coming. Okay? Right. He's not coming. I pray, you know what I mean? And if I'm not going to say I don't read the Bible, but if I need answers, I will open the Bible and read whatever verse comes to it. But sometimes those things aren't enough. Like, you can know exactly who you are and know what your destiny needs to be and know that you're a child of God and still not have it all together to pull yourself out of depression. That's possible. And there's a book that my pastor has out too called Relational Intelligence, and I read that book and it was very transformative for me, because not only did he disclose that he, as a pastor who's a pastor of millions of people, went through a period where prayer and the Bible was not working out for him. Yeah. It was literally the people that he had around him, the people that he was connected to, and the people that were able to pull him out of that place. Right? So for me, one of the things he said is IQ plus EQ equals RQ. And intelligence, right, plus emotional intelligence equals relational intelligence. When you realize and know that the people that you have around you affect your daily life, you will know, oh no, I need to get out of this circle and place myself in a place that is going to help me to thrive. It's going to help me to just project myself further and just listen, after I read that book, I went on a blocking spree. Okay. I was going through my phone block, block. Right. Because I know this is not me. Honestly, I am 100% know that depression and anxiety, all that is real. But at the same time, those are real life things that people deal with every day. They just have different ways of dealing with them.
Or sometimes they don't even know they have it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they just continue to move. We live in a country where we have to keep moving. Yeah, right. We have bills to pay. We have children to look after. We have to keep moving. We don't have the luxury of being we're just gonna lounge around. We're just gonna enjoy the sun today. We don't have that luxury for
not
some
as adults, at least. Well, I guess not for normal adults. Yeah. I guess if you're rich and famous, you can have that luxury, but
yeah, but for us normal working people down here, not in the 2%, we gotta go ahead and schedule accumulate vacation time,
I know.
first of all, and then we have to go ahead and try to schedule it. And God forbid somebody else is trying to schedule it at the same time.
Right.
They're like, listen, this person's trying to take off this date, so you really can't take off that day. Like, sir, stop playing with me.
Right.
But I don't know.
But so let's just kind of get into tips on how to try to get yourself out of those dark times or those episodes that things might just feel super overwhelming. So
yes. So for me, one thing that has helped me that I've recently learned is reconstructing the events or reimagining the trauma.
yeah.
So I've gone through a lot of trauma. I'm talking about rape, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, like things like that. Like I've gone through a lot of trauma, and it's not something that I'm scared to talk about or share with other people because I know that I can help somebody else through my story.
Yeah.
But I literally had to tell myself, like, this person loved me so much, he couldn't keep his hands off of me, so I could move on. Because when you experience things like that, it becomes very physical.
Yeah.
Especially when you have PTSD. I can't breathe sometimes when I think about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get shivers or like I'm scared or I'm looking back because I'm like, dang, somebody might be just running up on me or somebody might just take me for granted or come and just,
Right.
just because I'm a woman, they want to take advantage,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I can't give them that power. I'm a conqueror. I'm not a victim. I'm sorry. And to those who, are victims, that's fine.
I think the word victim, it's more about like survivor.
Yeah.
So if you're a survivor of abuse, you're a survivor of trauma, you're a survivor of whatever. It's about changing the word, I think.
Because if you use the word victim, you give that other person power over you. And that's why when it comes to like court and things like that, they're like victim, the plaintiff, things like that. Like those words I feel like are very important to change because once you change those words, you change your outlook, you change your whole like aspects on what you've gone through. I'm a conqueror. Yes, this happened to me, but I'm going to like fall forward and make sure nothing like that ever happens to me again, for one. And then for two, I'm going to show those people like, just because you hurt me doesn't mean you stopping nothing over here. Listen, we're going to continue to move forward, and that's it.
So it's about reconstructing. So in terms of reconstructing, what does that look like though in terms of, so give an example.
So for instance, let's say you had a really big event or something like that and the speaker was a billionaire and you wanted to speak to that person or ask them a question. It came your turn to speak to that person and you couldn't say anything. You kind of got stage fright. You just kind of froze up, right? And you could not say anything. You got really nervous. Those are all physical things that you're feeling at that time. And not only does that experience sit with you because you're like, oh my God, I couldn't even talk to this person and I got the opportunity. Next time you think about it, you're going to freeze up. You're going to not know what to say. You're going to become very, very emotional. So for me, I would be like, that time came around, that billionaire picked me to ask my question and I asked my question, got my answers and move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so it's like rethinking it, just like reimagining how it could go better the next time, or maybe there won't be a next time. Just rethinking about how it went in your head instead of being so consumed with the negativity.
yes, listen, people, this may sound bad, but sometimes I have to lie to myself.
No,
Like,
I mean,
I have to lie to myself. Like that trauma was so bad that when I think about it, it physically affects me, like to the point where I can't breathe. My stomach's hurting. I'm at work, right?
Right.
So I can't not function and not do my work. So it's better for me to tell myself, you know what? This person loved me so much. He just had to touch me. And you know what I mean? Like, even though it wasn't ideal for me or it hurt me in ways that he would never know, I'm okay with knowing that he loved me that much. You know what I mean? Or that person was so confused that they didn't know what to like do with me. Like, you know what I mean? It's
like trying to also change the perspective.
Yes.
But also it's important to make sure that the person's also understanding of what happened. So then that way they can also try to heal from it too.
Yes.
So that way not giving the other person that much power. But I'm hearing a lot of like trying to change your perspective.
Yes, definitely trying to change your perspective. But you also have to think when you're a victim, that other person doesn't see you as a victim, for one. They don't think they did everything wrong, for one. And so you have to come to terms with that and you have to really sit down and think like, am I really going to allow this person to tell me that something didn't happen when I know that it did? And it's affecting me to the point where like I'm physically ill.
Right.
So no, I can't do that. Right? I have to continue to fall forward. We fall forward, and when we get back up, we knew exactly what made us fall, right? We knew exactly what put us down, and when we get up, we can fight another fight. And that's what it comes down to.
100%. And then I think some other things too are words of affirmation, like you mentioned before, and positive thinking too. So words of affirmation, what we mean by that is just giving yourself a positive affirmation every single day, looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself that too. It's really important. So that way you can build yourself up, you can give yourself a little bit more power, and obviously making sure those words of affirmation relate to you 100%, relate to your own experiences too. And like that same thing, like the positive thinking, it's just a lot of this comes with like, if you do have a negative thought, to try to validate your thought first, right? You have a negative thought, you want to validate it first. Okay, I'm having this negative thought about myself. I'm having this negative thought about the event. I'm understanding how this is making me feel. But now, in order to make myself feel better, I have to now challenge that thought. How do I know that what I'm experiencing is real? How do I know that this is automatically a bad thing? Right. Or just trying to find evidence to challenge that. Right. So it's like a lot of times if you're sitting there telling yourself, oh, if it wasn't, oh, I'm ugly or I'm not good enough. What we mean by challenging is find 3 reasons or 3 things that would say that you're not good enough. Who told you that you're not good enough? Who told you that you're not beautiful? Right. But again, it's important always, though. It's very important to always validate your feelings first. I think a lot of this people go, oh, automatically challenge it. And it kind of gives the wrong idea of like you're challenging, which means that what you're feeling isn't real or it's not important, and it is. But you also don't want to sit with that negative thought for hours in one day, right? You have to try to challenge it. You have to try to fight it as much as you can. Yes. So those are something that should be able to help too.
Remember, feelings are fleeting. They come and go.
Yep.
Bad 100%. Times come and go. And honestly, if you're in a place where you can't remember good times or you can't remember there's light at the end of the tunnel, just continue to move. Yeah. The words of our great leader, Martin Luther King Jr., he said, if you cannot fly, you can run. And if you can't run, you have to walk. If you can't walk, you have to crawl. We don't live in times where we have to just stop and just watch the world go by, because you're literally going to become nothing in life. And that's not what we want for you. We want you to go out there and make us a pill so we can live to 1,000 years, okay? That's what we want you to do. We want somebody to find us a way to live forever. We want you guys to motivate each other. Turn back and give your hand to somebody else. Help them out of that dark time if you made it out of there. Just because you go through something and you made it through doesn't mean the next person can. Right. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, but for sure.
Yeah.
And I think one more thing too is that a routine is really helpful, a morning routine, because I think the morning times are very difficult for a lot of people, because you're starting the day, you're waking up, you're probably having some residue from the day before if it was a really stressful day. So having a morning routine is really helpful too. Yeah. And just I always recommend that in the morning routine to try to do something calming for yourself in that morning routine. So meditation, mindfulness, stretching, walking, no electronics for as long as
eating
you can.
Eggs.
I make eggs every morning, and Jo is just like coming for me, okay? But yes, like just everything that's going to be like, nurturing and nutrition and everything like that. Yeah. All right. So, but anything else to add, Jo, with that?
I just want to say that we love y'all so much.
We do.
If you're watching this and you're going through a tough time, email us, message us. Listen, we're here to talk. We're here to be here for y'all. We want you guys to engage with us. So
definitely,
please reach out to us if you are going through tough times. I'm not no therapist. She's a therapist.
This is not a replacement for therapy, of course. Yes, but we also want to encourage our listeners to understand that you are not alone no matter what. Yeah. So that's why it's called Our Story Goes On, right?
Period.
Are we going to do a little affirmation? We forgot to do one. I feel like we've had a lot of affirmations.
Yeah, let me
in
see
today's
if I can
episode.
Find one really quick.
In today's episode. But yeah.
Ooh, I am happy to be me. Period. Y'all have a great day.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.